The Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 570, Meeple Nation March 2025 news.
Welcome, citizens, to Meeple Nation. Grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, warm up those dice, and join us at the game table as we discuss board games and the board gaming world. Each week, the hosts of Meeple Nation share their love for board games and the amazing memories that come from playing games with some very outstanding people. Let us now join our hosts in their natural habitat, the game table.
This week, we are discussing all things SaltCON Spring. We just came from SaltCON Spring, and we had a blast. We personally ran 64 events with our 16 teachers, and it was amazing. We had a lot of positive feedback. We appreciate those who were willing to teach, and we look forward to SaltCON Summer coming up in June. So come join us at the table as we dig into this exciting news episode.
The Meeple Nation podcast is sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. Go to the website, check them out. They have a game table for any size surface. If you want to upgrade your game night and every game that hits your table, go to GameToppersLLC.com, get a topper, get some mats, get some accessories. Check them out. You will love it.
We are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I am Douglas Stewart.
I'm Nathan Howard.
And I am Andy Holiday.
And together, when our powers combine, we become the world's okayest podcast. And the world's okayest podcast deserves the world's okayest website. So head on over to meeplenation.com, where you can find links to all the past episodes, learn more about us, check us out on the old socials. You can find that Patreon link. Go ahead and click on that to become a patron of the show. And of course, we absolutely love to hear from all of our wonderful listeners. So drop us a line at meeplenation@gmail.com.
You know what's really fun is we have a Discord channel. And
yes,
and it's become fairly active. We discuss a lot of stuff on BGA. There's several people that I'm talking with every day that are on there, and so that's also a great way to just kind of chat us. There's some different servers that are on there, so feel free to jump on. That Discord link should be on our website, and if that link is still broken, shoot us an email at meeplenation@gmail.com, and I will send you a link for it, and then I will get that fixed. Again, it's hopefully set to not expire now, but I thought I had it set to not expire before, and apparently it expired. Nice. So, but yeah, the Discord has been it's been fun. We've been talking about playing some games on BGA, and we've been kicking off some games.
Andy's going to be really into that channel.
Yes, he is.
He's in there all the time talking about the great BGA games he likes to.
Yeah.
Oh wait, sorry.
Yep.
No, the opposite is true.
Yeah.
No, my bad. I really messed that up.
But it's good times, and fun is had there, and we talk about some great games that are played, and come on, join the chat at Discord.
Well, speaking of great games, oh my heck, SaltCON. We got to talk about SaltCON. It is Highlight 30, but
it is.
On our post-SaltCON news episodes, I mean, let's be honest, it's all about SaltCON.
It is. Yeah. There's so many highlights that happened at SaltCON that 64 events, 64 games.
Yeah, Meeple Nation ran 64 events over the course of the 3-day week. I guess it's technically 4 days, but we don't participate in the last day. So over 3 days, 64 events, and I thought for the most part it ran pretty smooth.
Yeah,
and everyone
there were
had
some hiccups,
a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Well, the logistics of running that many events was kind of crazy, but overall, I mean, it was just a lot of people, a lot of smiling faces.
Yes,
playing board games.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We had a lot of people that signed up for several of our events. So we got very familiar with several people, but there was still a wide variety of folks that were able to join and play some games. And our teachers, I just can't thank those teachers from Meeple Nation, those teachers from Hug that came together and helped with Meeple Nation, and it was phenomenal. I mean, I just want to thank all of them, and thank you guys especially for helping bring that together, and it was grand.
Fantastic. Well, let's dive in. What were some of the games that we got played, and what were some of the highlights of the convention? I'll get us started off because I was excited to play Finspan.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah,
actually.
this little Stonemaier, what are we calling it? The Span series. It just kind of keeps growing.
The spam.
Yeah, and I think, it was funny because when Wingspan came out, they were announcing all these, expansions and stuff for it. And I remember many people saying like, oh, I wish this had like a dragon theme. This game would be so cool if I had a dragon theme. And then lo and behold, we got Wormspan. I didn't hear any clamoring for a fish version of the game, but it was interesting. One of the things that I like about Stonemaier Games, Jamie Stegmaier over there, he does this thing where he doesn't like really announce a game until it's on the boat coming across the water,
which is kind of nice, right? It builds
in some
up that
ways
hype right off.
Yeah, because it's sort of like, hey, here's a great new game, and guess what? You're not going to have to wait for a year and a half to get it, And so, I was pretty excited. I put in a little pre-order. I got the deluxe components. It all showed up before the convention. Where I got a chance to sit down and play that. Remind me, Nathan, that was me and you and James and Brad, I believe.
Yes, Brad.
Yeah, we all got to sit down and play that one. Probably the simplest of the Span series.
Yeah, I would say it was.
But I still really enjoyed it. I thought that it was very good. One of the additions to Finspan that I particularly liked was you kind of have your hand of cards that you play as they're sort of face down public knowledge on the one side of your board. But when you discard cards to pay for cards, you get to actually create like a personal discard pile.
Right.
And so it doesn't just go into like the heap of dead cards.
Right.
You can actually cycle those cards back into your hand to use later, because that is one of those things. I don't know how many times I have been playing Wingspan or Wormspan and I've had to get rid of cards, and I've thought, I really wish I could get back around to that card when the timing or the situation's better. And Finspan kind of allows you to do that. It has sort of a built-in mechanism. I thought the art was pretty neat. I really did enjoy the upgraded components, those wood components compared to the little cardboard chips.
Yeah.
I think that was a big upgrade, and I was glad I got them. It has those little squishy eggs.
Which almost, you want to eat them.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. You just want to pop them in your mouth every time you pick one up. But overall, I really enjoyed Finspan. I thought it was great. I was glad we got it played, and I am looking forward to playing it some more.
I didn't hate it.
Which is really saying something, because you do have lean toward the hate side of the Span series.
Well, actually, just more towards Wingspan, and I don't know why it is. I do know why it is. I think that the decks just got way flooded, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. It just is too much in one spot. Yeah. That makes me want to cringe and vomit.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot all at once.
That might be a little extreme, but it definitely makes me want to cringe.
just a little.
I still really like Wingspan, but
I do too.
Anyway. This is one I'll definitely have to teach to you, Andy.
I would love to learn.
Yeah, it was good times. What did you guys play?
I got the chance to try, and you joined us in this game too, Douglas, and you won, which was...
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
What game are we talking about?
We're talking about Mezen.
Oh, did I really?
Yeah.
Did I win that?
You won that,
wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So Mezen it's a pattern building game that is, I'm not quite sure how to put this into words. So you have your forest out there. You have tiles that are randomly put down.
It's a shifting grid.
It is
right?
A shifting grid, yeah. So you have a 5x5 grid that you put down your animals. There's 5 classes of animals, and when you're shifting these tiles, well, first you're going to announce, I'm the active player. I'm going to announce a type of tile, and then I'm going to look on my board, and I'm going to try to find sets of that tile. So tiles that are orthogonally connected, and then I have some I can't even remember what they're called. The tokens, anyways.
Yeah, you had little tokens that kind of allow you to like sort of break the rules and break the sets up and stuff. There's like these little chips,
extend the set,
or to extend them.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, but you're basically calling out like a type, and then you choose to do something with it, right?
Yep. I'm gonna pull. If I call out a type, I can either extend it, reduce it, depending on how I want to shift my tiles. Because there are 10 goals throughout the game. You can see the active goal, and you can see the next round's goal. And what those goals, how to earn those goals is to complete patterns on your grid. Yep. And so I'm going to call out a type of animal, and then I'm going to flip to pull those animals out of my grid, and then everything is going to kind of shift down like a Tetris board, where it's going to fill in those holes. And then I'm going to take those tiles that I pulled out, I'm going to flip them to the other side, and then I'm going to feed them into my grid in any way that I want to hopefully maybe lead up to that pattern that's coming up in the second round or the next round, and try to monopolize my score that way. Yeah. And the art on it was kind of...
it was very stylized. I liked it.
It was.
I thought it was a visually... It's busy, but it's kind of... It's appealing, though. I liked it.
It's all red and white, and then you flip it over, and it's black and red or black and white?
Black and red.
Yeah, black and red. And... just so it shows that when you get halfway through the game, you've reached round number 5, you're going to score points for all of your black tiles. And so those are tiles that you've switched from the white side to the black side. And then at the end of the 10th round, the final round, you're going to score points for those white tiles.
Yeah. So you're sort of incentivized to get a lot of them flipped during the first half and then get them flipped back over in the second half. All the while you're shifting them, like you said, Tetris style, and trying to create patterns. And I will say some of those round patterns, like the goals or whatever, they were pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And others were like brain breaking. It was like, I don't know how to flip everything to maximize. I mean, you could just do some stuff.
Yeah.
And not score very many points. But if you were trying to really maximize points, it was like, hang on, I need half an hour to think about this.
Yeah.
It was,
and it is not a game that you rush through. Yeah. It is very thinky.
This was a game that I really enjoyed the art. I thought that this was a very clever game. Like, this game gets a lot of points for just cleverness, right? It's fairly simple, but clever. But it was also not a game that I loved a lot.
My wife didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And it was one I thought she was going to be all over.
Yeah, I don't know what, not super high on the fun factor for me. And maybe it's just because I don't enjoy those types of that type of puzzle and pattern building, finding, whatever. But I give it a lot of credit because it was a beautiful game. And like I said, I think clever is the word. It was very clever.
Yeah.
Just wasn't one that I enjoyed a whole lot.
Yeah. You can get some deluxe neoprene mats that I can't get to lay flat yet. Someday I hope they're going to lay flat enough I don't have to iron those out. Can you iron neoprene?
I don't know.
On a very low heat, I'm sure you could.
Very low heat.
Yeah.
Maybe I can stack a bunch of games on it or something to get it to lay flat.
Put a wet towel over it and iron the wet towel.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. I can see that.
I can guarantee someone
You're speaking from experience of getting stains out, I guess.
No, I just speaking from business trips and not wanting to burn my pants.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
So
you wear neoprene pants?
No, not neoprene, but it works for pants that get burned with irons, and
okay.
So yeah, or shirts. So that's my hack.
I guarantee someone on the internet has tried just about everything.
Yeah.
So do a little reading, and I bet you could come up with a good
Yeah,
solution.
I'm sure you can. But so far, just leaving it in the bottom of the box and wanting to play with it and not being able to play with them has not fixed that yet.
Don't ever bring up my neoprene pants ever again, though, please.
All right. So speaking of which, something funny story. I saw somebody that was at posting that they were at Dice Tower West, and they had said that they had found a new feature for their Game Topper mat, and they were using it as a blanket.
Oh, you're kidding!
They were asleep on the conference floor and in the corner, and they had their Game Topper mat on top of them, trying to keep themselves.
It's like a weighted blanket.
It is
3 millimeters thick with that stitched edge.
Yep.
Probably makes a pretty good blanket.
Yep, just don't drool on it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. Mezen, I really liked it, and I would like to play it again.
Yeah.
But
got to find somebody who is as enthusiastic as you about it, maybe.
Yeah, but apparently I'm the lone champion for Mezen. The rules were a little...
they were clunky.
Yeah. I saw somebody else playing it at the con, and I asked them, hey, you liking it? And they're like, oh, yeah, it's a great game. Had a lot of fun with it. And I was like, how did you like those rules? Yeah, they were garbage. It took some Google foo to figure out some stuff. And
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
So, yep. But all in all, I would still recommend Mezen. I thought it was a great game.
It's definitely worth checking out at least, right? Just to see if it's for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm noticing that you guys played a lot more games than I did at SaltCON.
Did we really?
No, I don't think so.
I think so.
But I mean, there was like the first day, I didn't play. I think I maybe played 2 games the first Thursday.
You played a lot of long games.
Yeah.
I did. You are right about that.
You played big, heavy, long games.
That's true.
So you had time-wise, right? I think we were all right there, but
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Thursday I played Mezen and Finspan. That's all I played on Thursday.
oh,
And I played...
look at me making your Thursday dreams come true.
Yeah.
We played both of those games together.
And on Friday, I played 5 games. And on Saturday, I played... I had a really poor con, actually.
I had 23 games total. Well, I had my game tally was 23 for the con, which is
Mine was 12.
on the lower side.
Yeah, mine was 12.
I usually hit 30-ish
Yeah.
for the big convention. Not that's not like a goal of mine or something.
I had 8.
Okay, yeah,
Really-
but again, long big games.
Really, you could count it as 9, but 2 of those I played twice. So yeah, but you're right. Most of the games I played were really long, and some of them went longer than they should have, but they were still great games.
I missed a game too, which was one of those highlights. I'm gonna have to get that from you, Douglas. See who won. But we'll talk about that when you talk about that,
Okay,
or I force it up. I will.
Andy, what was one of those big games you got played?
Well, I'm going to talk about 2 games because we played it twice, but we played it twice differently. And I'm also going to talk about an acquisition I made that for this particular game, and that is Marvel Zombies. So
Okay, yeah, go ahead. No, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I know why you're laughing, Doug.
We'll get there.
All right, so I hosted Marvel Zombies the first day, and we decided to. I kind of gave everybody the choice to either play as the zombies or to play as the superheroes. Everybody decided they wanted to play as zombies, so we played as the zombies fighting Galactus, and we had a ball. Everybody at the table had a really good time. It came down to the wire. I mean, we were so close to winning, and one of the players just made a very slight mistake and just positioned himself in the incorrect spot and got swarmed by just a huge swarm of walkers that, of course, had an extra activation, like the way it always seems to happen in that game.
Yeah, that's always how it goes.
Just at the worst possible time. Anyway, but we had a good time, and so that was day 1. Day 2, the flea market opened. And somebody saw the Kickstarter exclusive box that they didn't have for Marvel Zombies.
Was that somebody you?
That somebody was me. So Doug passes by and say, "Hey, Doug, look at this. I can get the pack." And Doug's like, "Hey, there's the upgraded tokens pack too." I'm like, "Dang it, Doug. Now I gotta buy that too."
Well, you were over there grumbling because you were like, "Can't believe I got to pay this high secondary market price for the Kickstarter exclusive and seam on this and seam on that." Grumble, grumble, grumble.
Ooh,
and
upgrade tokens.
You had just put your wallet away, and I was like, "Well, here's the upgraded tokens pack. You can't go home without that, right?"
No.
That's awesome.
And they were great, right? The upgraded tokens really are awesome. I mean, they're
Oh, they were awesome.
They're
Yeah, they were
really,
really good.
high quality
Yeah, I
tokens.
like 'em a lot.
So it was worth the money, but it was expensive, but I don't regret my purchase. Anyway, so I bought that, which then the next day I hosted Marvel Zombies again, but then we decided to, and it was the same, we were fighting Galactus, but we decided to play as the superheroes. Well, that pack comes with a ton of more superheroes, so I was very excited to get Marvel Zombies to the table 2 days in a row, and we got totally destroyed in that game. Like, it was not even close. Yeah, it was still fun. We had a good time, but man, it seemed a lot harder to play as the superheroes and to defeat Galactus as the superheroes than it did as the zombie hero.
Really?
It really
Yeah.
did. But
Yeah, because I really like the thematics of playing both sides, but I think I still think I prefer to just be the hero, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but I think you're right. I think as we've played it, I believe that it might be just a little easier to play as the zombie heroes.
yeah, I mean, you do have the hang up of hunger, right? So that
Yeah.
you get constrained where you have to devour something and you can't do anything until you devour something. So you kind of have that constraint when it makes up for it by making them, I think, a little bit more powerful. But overall, my gosh, we had so much fun with that. And it was funny. So when I was buying my Kickstarter exclusive box, I was actually there standing next to one of the guys that played Marvel Zombies the day before, and he was buying the 2 base game the copy of each of the base games. So it's an amazing game. It's one that everybody loves when it hits the table. So
it is good. I do like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot, and I think I probably like playing better as the zombies.
Yeah, no, I get that. They're both really fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it was a good time for sure. But yeah, it was a great job. Good job, Andy.
Oh, thanks, Nathan.
You're amazing.
Anyway, so Richie and I had a chance at SaltCON to sit down and play the new John DeClaire card crafting hotness, Unstoppable.
And I was really jealous because I really wanted to play this.
Yeah, I will absolutely teach you this game. I think it is a phenomenal card crafting deck building game. It's really good.
Excellent. I'm looking forward to it.
The theme is a little out there. It has a whole story, and there's all this kind of, it's like these different planets and alien races and stuff. As a fan of sci-fi, Nathan, I think you're really going to love it. As someone who likes sci-fi, but isn't like, that isn't like the end all be all for me at all. Thematically, it's fine. It works and it's good. But the thing that really shines in this game is, of course, the thing that John DeClaire is known for, and that is the card crafting part of it. Because you start with a deck of cards that is relatively weak. The cards themselves are not only the cards that are in your hand that you're using, but they also represent the enemies or the threats that you face. So they're sort of double-sided. And as you eliminate those threats or enemies, those cards come into your hand, and then you use your resources, your gold primarily, although there are card effects that let you gain upgrades, but usually you're buying upgrades. But then you use those upgrades to slot in between the front and back of the card. So you have the front that's kind of your side, the back that's the enemy, and then these upgrades that slot down in between. And the upgrades can give you some really powerful boosts for when those cards are played, but they also make the enemy on the back a little stronger too. So it's
nice.
It's a little bit of it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's got some fun keywords, but it doesn't like overdo it with keywords. I think sometimes when these new card systems come out, they have a lot of keywords and there's a lot of rules and all that kind of stuff. I felt like this was very manageable as far as that goes. I think there's like kind of 5 main keywords that you really have to look for on the enemies. And then there's 3 factions that you want to try to develop synergies with when it comes to your side of the cards as well. And those, like when you pick a character to play. Each deck sort of has like a hero that you're playing, and then 3 asymmetric cards that you start off with. So the game isn't like wildly asymmetric, but it does have some really fun asymmetric elements to it.
So is there just the 2 characters to pick from then, or is there?
No, the base game comes with 4, and then and I kickstarted it, and with the Kickstarter there was, I believe it's Tyrant's something is the expansion that comes with it. Tyrant's Edge, Tyrant's End, something like that. And that comes with 2 new characters to play. So you can choose from one of 6 characters to play. Probably one of the downsides to this is that it was kind of developed as a solo game or a 2-player game. I think it shines best. This is definitely the best at 2 players. The 2-player experience is definitely the best experience, I believe, because there's a lot of cooperation between the players in order to defeat the boss. This is not a head-to-head game. You definitely are fighting against the game. And I think that is definitely the best way that it's played is at 2 players. But it also works as a single player experience too. The game is relatively difficult. It definitely has a high bar of difficulty. And Richie and I played it a couple times against, I think, the harder boss in the game, and we really felt like we were beating our heads against a brick wall. But we did not get a win in playing that game, but we had a lot of fun trying.
That's a plus.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I will definitely teach that to you sometime, Nathan. I thought it was very good. Unstoppable, card crafting, John DeClaire. It's all good.
Yeah, I am very much looking forward to this. I have this game as well, so I backed it as well with the, so I have the expansion, and I am anxious to play it. So whenever we're either at your house or here, I would love to get that learned and play to the table. It looks like it's one that's going to be a little too complex for my wife. I was hoping it was one that her and I could play, but it sounds like one that she would be very frustrated with.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I here's the thing. I think it's, from what I know of Cheryl, I think it's maybe a little bit harder than what she would like to play, and because of its difficulty, right? She doesn't like to lose. She's like my wife that way.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be like a little bit of a turnoff. However, I don't know anyone who's not going to love the card crafting part of this, because the card crafting is genuinely really cool and a lot of fun.
Excellent.
So, whether that's enough to win her over, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm anxious to play it with you.
Yeah.
So one of the hot games that SaltCON had that I picked up right before the con and got the opportunity to play, and we used the power of poker to play the game.
Are you talking about the gang?
The gang, yeah. And I realize that my family is very terrible at poker. The gang is you are playing together and you're trying to infiltrate and pull off a heist. And to be able to pull off the heist, you have to be able to win some poker hands. And not only do you have to win the poker hands, but you have to get everybody to have their poker hands in order, like from strongest hand to weakest hand.
Yeah.
And so you start off and you're playing, it is Texas Hold'em. So you're going to get your
2 cards.
What do they call them?
The flop.
No, your pocket. You get your 2 pocket cards. And so
look at you using the big poker words.
Look at me use. I know my words.
Oh, good job, Nathan.
So you have your pocket cards.
Why isn't your family better at poker? I don't know. Look at you.
Yeah. They should be. Maybe I should take some lessons from Andy's kids.
Maybe you should. Caden in particular.
Yeah, he's playing poker all the time.
Yeah, he is.
But anyways, so you start off and you look at your pocket cards and then you are trying to determine how strong of a hand you think you have. And depending on the number of players is how many tokens. The game goes up to 6 players. And so if I think I have a pretty high chance of some possibility of some winning hands, then I'm going to try to take a higher number. Or if I have nothing, like if I got a 2 and a 3 in different suits, I have a crappy hand, then I want to take a lower card. When we're all happy with the order that we think that we have, then we're going to move on to the next round. And so we don't reveal any information. We don't say any information, but we just kind of look at our 2 pocket cards and say, okay, this is where I feel I'm at. And then the next round we go on and the flop happens. So the 3 cards are dropped down into the river and then we reevaluate, what did those 3 cards do to my 2 pocket cards? Did they increase my chances? Did they throw my chances out the window? And again, we're going to go through that same round of, okay, I think I'm here. Andy thinks he's here. Douglas thinks he's here. And we go back and forth. And if I think mine's better, I'll just take Andy's token, say, no, I'm worse than you, Andy. Or you're going to say, no, I'm worse than you. You take it back. And we finally, after the flop, we decide that we're happy. This is the order of our cards. And then we'll do another round with now I'm going to mess up my poker term as the bend or I don't know what it is. Anyways, the next card comes out. We go through it again. And then until we get to the final round where we have to determine this is the order of the cards.
It sounds like a very complicated game.
No, it really isn't. Basically, you get your pocket cards, and over the 3 rounds, you're really just jostling to see, like, given what's out publicly, you're just trying to like jostle and be like, well, who maybe has the better hand? Because in the end, you just need to be able, when everybody puts their cards down, you just need to be able to rank it. Whoever has the 1 chip needs to have the most powerful hand. Whoever has the 2 needs to have the next, and so on. And therein lies the challenge. This is a game that, to me, I really like this game. I thought it was great. It's sold out everywhere, and I went online and started looking for a copy because I enjoyed it that much. However, I do think that this is a game that would get like way too hard with like 6 players. We played it with 4 and I felt like it was difficulty.
Yeah.
I felt like it was very difficult. With 5 or 6, I don't know how you would make sure that all 6 of those hands were lined up.
Yeah. I mean, you got to get used to each other playing how I determine what is really bad, because as I was playing with, not that I'm claiming to be a professional at poker, but I did play in 2 poker tournaments.
Nice.
How'd you do?
We're not going to talk about that part. But
wow.
The first poker tournament, I had never played poker. The second poker tournament, I had played in 1 poker tournament. So
that's how math works.
That's how.
Yep.
And that's how I rank. So I am definitely no expert at all. But it does come with a nice little cheat card that shows you the strength of the hands, which I refer to a lot.
That's good.
But that's neither here nor there. Going back to why the game was awesome, there is a lot of fun trying to manage that. And if you're working with people that you have familiarity with, especially as you play it more often, and you start to pick up on those, like, okay, If you think you really have a bad hand, or if you think you have a crappy hand, because we played some games and somebody was showing like, I got the worst hand ever, and they had a pair of 10s, and they had the best hand out of the four of us.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, all I got's a pair of 10s. And everybody's like, well, I don't have a pair of anything. And so there's some challenge that as you get used to playing with each other, as you get used to playing together, you will find the be able to
kind of find a rhythm with a group. And get
It's
into
kind of like
groove.
playing the game, where you're trying to play cards in order and do that again. And I think the game is really well done. I very much enjoyed it.
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. Yep.
And so hopefully on Thursday night we can get some people to play it and just get a feel for this as our group, and not with my family that just gets mad that they don't know poker.
Well, I'm with your family. I don't know poker very well. I should take some lessons from my son too.
Yeah, you should. He'll school you, and he'll enjoy schooling you.
Because you said, oh, it's basically Texas Hold'em, and I'm like, that means nothing to me. I have no idea what that means.
Yes and no. Like, I get it. I definitely understand that comparison. If you're familiar with Yahtzee, you are familiar with how to score this game. It's straights and pairs and all that, and there's a little cheat sheet right there. It really isn't as complicated. You don't need like a PhD in poker to play this game. It's not that hard.
They have those?
Yeah, I'm halfway through the program.
That's amazing.
Halfway through the pork.
All right, cool. Well, I was able to play, and have since been able to teach you guys Planet Unknown with the Supermoon expansion. Only modules 1 and 2, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's more to it than that we have not yet gotten to in that Supermoon expansion box. But the components are awesome for this game. That came with the Kickstarter. The asteroids and the life pods that are actually miniature plastic pieces. And
Those components, yes. Those components are awesome.
Yeah, we won't talk
lid?
about the lid was garbage.
Was a very big disappointment. And I talked that lid up so much. I was so excited.
for the lid. The Lazy
Yeah.
Susan's getting a lid. It's going to be amazing, Nathan said.
It was such a letdown.
That lid was such a wah wah.
Yeah, here's a piece of plastic and a rubber band to hold it down.
Yeah.
We were kind of talking about this the other night, but honestly, they should be just absolutely embarrassed by that lid.
Yeah. Oh. And I'm embarrassed saying, oh, I can't wait. It's so exciting.
But it came with a big rubber band to hold it on. So,
And if you look out there on the interwebs on BGG, there you go to the forums and the files. There is a nice STL there that you can use that has little clips that work to hold down that lid that are superior to the rubber band.
Far superior to the rubber band.
And then we will never talk about the lid again. Andy, tell us more about this amazing components, which, yes, those components that you're talking about are amazing. I will not talk about the lid anymore. That sucks.
really quickly, I just punched this last night.
Oh,
The lid?
No. Well, I should have.
Yes.
No, I mean, I punched the game, right? Got it all ready and sorted and everything. And I was the only one that got all the neoprene stuff. So just while you're talking about the great components, I thought I'd throw that out there because the Supermoon has the little neoprene mats for those.
Oh, cool.
And then the main mats are all neoprene too. And I got them out of the box and looked them over really good last night. And they really are very nice.
So are the neoprene planets, are they double-sided neoprene?
Yep.
Okay.
That's awesome.
They're a high quality, like stitched edge and everything too. They're
Nice.
Very,
Okay.
very good.
Way to make me jealous, Doug. I wasn't even where they had neoprene. I guess I didn't look close enough at the Kickstarter.
Guess what Andy's doing tonight?
Trying to hunt down neoprene mats.
Probably not. I can't. I just spent over $200 for the last CMON thing. So.
Oh, they really have their hand in your wallet, don't they?
Oh my gosh. Yep. Them and Flying Frog. Anyway. But yes, so we were able to play modules 1 and 2 for the Supermoon expansion, which is where you're using the moon and you're adding pieces to the moon. Plus, you have extra tiles that you can add throughout the game. So if someone gives you a bum depot that you don't like the tiles that are there, you can pick a tile and add it to either your moon or to your planet instead.
I really like those.
I do too, a lot, especially because if it's not well, number one, the game it will actually make the game go longer. Not only because you have the moon that you have to fill up, but those are just a size 2 square piece.
Mm-hmm.
So just a rectangular piece.
Yep.
And the game doesn't end if you can still place one of those. So essentially, the game's going to end when people have a single only single squares left, or they have used all of those pieces and they don't have anything available to them, or if 2 depots are gone. But I think it makes it so the game doesn't feel like, it feels like you actually get to complete something. Like everybody gets a lot closer to filling their planet up. It's a little more satisfying to me. I think it makes the game more enjoyable. And yeah, I think it's a great addition to the game.
Yeah, I really liked it. I've always really liked this game, but that really launched it forward. I think it definitely pushed it to the next level. Imagine how good it would be if it had come with a good lid.
I know, right?
I said I wasn't going to talk about the lid anymore. That's garbage.
I just think it was funny with all the hype and
all the hype that I put into it.
Not just you. I mean, it was everybody was talking about the lid who had played Planet Unknown. Everybody was excited about it. Wow, that was when I pulled that out of the box. I'm like, what in the world is this? This can't be the lid.
Yeah, and you opened yours first.
Yeah,
like, and you like tell that to everybody. There's a stupid rubber band in here.
Well, I first thought this has just got to be for packaging, right? There's no way this is the lid. No, that's the lid.
Yeah, I used those 3D printed clips and threw the rubber band right away.
I put it on the shelf for another game that I'm never gonna.
Yeah, I guess you could use it for something else, but
it's why do you need it to hold a game that is already in shrink, Nathan? It's
my Planet Moon
Planet Moon, Supermoon,
both of them, whatever that game is, both of them are unshrunk. Is that the right word?
Sure.
Both of them are out of shrink, and both of them have been played.
Good for you.
Take that, Andy.
Wow. You kind of got to let him have that because he doesn't get those moments very often.
No, he doesn't.
Then he has a tough time spitting it out of his mouth.
It was rough. It was rough, but we got there.
Came in with a lot of duct tape on it, but we'll give it to you. That's awesome. One of the evenings that we were there, it might have been, was it the last evening? I don't know. I don't remember, and it doesn't matter. But Dave and Tammy Bremer and I had a chance to sit down and play Mille Fiori with...
It was Friday.
For
those keeping track at home.
Okay, because everyone...
During my game show.
Because everyone definitely needed to know that. So we played Mille Fiori with the Masterpieces expansion, and I really like what the Masterpieces added to the game.
I really want to try this with the Masterpieces.
Me too. It looked really good.
Yeah. It really forces the game out into some new directions, and it kind of gives it that feel of like, okay, I really can't do everything, and I definitely need to focus in on some key areas, but also the way the different areas like sort of synergize, and the way that it works now with the new like Doge cards and it's like the Dogeness or so. I can't remember. Anyway, whatever the name is for a person who's married to the Doge. Anyway, there's some new cards, and then it extends the track that the boats can go down and introduces a whole new sideboard where you can move your pawns up in the court and gain a whole bunch of rewards. There's new places to claim like the big bonuses, like the big 2015 10-5 bonuses. New cards into the deck. There's a whole new like you can actually build a little side tableau of special glass pieces now. So there's kind of a little mini game that you're playing off to the side with your own little tableau of cards.
That's cool.
It added some really fun stuff, and I liked it quite a bit. And Dave and Tammy really liked it as well. In fact, Dave was like, "Oh, I've got to add this to my copy of the game." So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
excellent.
It was very good.
I've only played that once, and it was a great game. I would love to play it again, especially with the expansion.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it quite a lot.
I got the opportunity to teach a couple little fun games that were fun and little. I got to teach Pixies. Pixies is a game that Jody introduced me to on BGA, and I since sought it out, taught it to as many people as I can, because I think this game is really great. You have a grid of a 3x3 grid where you're drawing cards from the fairy deck or the pixie deck, and you have to put those cards in order. And some of those cards will have a little swirly victory point, or they'll have an X, which is negative victory points. And you're trying to get as many positive points there. But each card that you draw has a number on it as well. And that number has to go in the appropriate spot, 1, 2, 3 through 9. And it scores nothing if it's the only card there. But if you validate it, you draw another, say 7. So I have a 7 on my board. I draw a second 7. I'm going to choose one of those two 7s to go on top of the deck, and the other 7 is going to go face down underneath it. So once I have validated a card, meaning it has that 2-card stack, then I'm also going to score that face value as well. So I'm going to score any swirls, or I'm going to lose any points for X's, but I'm also going to score that 7 points. And it's a very simple game. You're playing it over 3 rounds. Best total your score out of the 3 rounds. Very quick, very fun. Fun art, Douglas.
Okay.
And your wife approved of it.
She did.
And she's an artist.
Yeah. So
and an art teacher. So she knows her stuff. She knows her art.
Okay.
Much better than...
I will not disagree with anything you're saying here. I still don't like the art because art is subjective and I can have my opinion. I do not like the art in this game, but the game is fun.
I do see the art's a little creepy.
Yeah. Some of it's fine.
Yeah.
But there is some of it that kind of crosses that threshold for me personally. But the game is actually really fun. It's a fun little filler game, and I will give it full points for being a fun filler.
I think it's great. But yeah, Pixies was one that I just got out, was able to teach. Big fun.
That's one I need to play again. I was left frustrated, and I didn't even realize there was art on the card.
You were just too busy being mad with that little mouth?
Maybe. I was too focused on the icons in the corners and the numbers. So
yeah.
And he's like, there was art?
Hold on, now I've got to pay attention. What? It's one that I got to play again. We've played it twice, Nathan, and I think the second game was more frustrating than the first game.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but maybe I tried something new and it totally didn't work. So I need to play again and just play like Nathan, I guess. I'm just gonna copy everything you do. That's all I'm gonna do from now on.
I'm gonna grow up and be like Nathan.
Yep.
Winning.
Gonna start by. Never mind.
Start by what? I'm interested where this was going.
I was gonna say I'm gonna start by trying to argue and stumble over myself.
Oh yeah. That's a good place to start.
Gonna pull a Nathan.
Well, I'm gonna hit 3 very quickly because we've talked about them a fair bit on the podcast. So I hosted Inventors of the South Tigris. We had a lot of fun with that game. It went very long. It is a 2-hour game, and it was 5.5 hours with the teach.
Oh,
it was a very long game. But it was still it's a great game. But that was a bit on the long side for me. I am from the moon. We taught from the moon. For the record, I did not win.
Oh, good.
Oh, wow. Who won?
Was
it just one of the players?
Yeah, it was one of the guys. I can't. Okay. I could look. Oh, it was Christopher. Christopher won.
Nice job, Christopher.
We did cut it short, so because we went
because they were playing Feed the Kraken with me.
Kraken. Yeah, so we cut it short. We cut it 1 or 2 rounds short. So, and those are usually big scoring rounds. But he ended up he was in the lead at the time by a fair bit. So yeah, he latched onto that game, and he was playing a different game. It was really between him and I. Everybody else was struggling, getting their stuff going.
Everybody else was having a Brad game.
But he was also playing the cyborgs, and that's just not having to feed
having to feed the people.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. So yeah, he was kind of running away with that one. And then with kind of the same group of guys, I taught Pirates of Maracaibo, and that game went great as well. But Pirates of Maracaibo always goes great, and it was that one we didn't go over on. So
that's one of my few. That's a hard one to go over on.
It is. Well, it was one of the few games. Actually, it still went long.
Oh, did it?
I mean, longer than I expected it to go. It was the longest game of Pirates of Maracaibo I've ever played. But I think it was one of my few games that didn't go over time. So I did host a lot of the heavier games this time. But yeah, those 3, they were awesome. And I'm not going to dive into them because we've talked plenty about them on the podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Nice. Very, very cool. Well, Nathan, is it time to talk about the elephant in the room? Is it time to talk about it? It's probably time to talk about it. I finally got coerced into sitting down and playing.
Not coerced, you volunteered.
I did. I had agreed. I had made a pledge, and I wanted to be true to my word. But I finally sat down and played Salem 1692. And I'll be honest, I really thought I was just going to get kind of werewolf vibes out of this game. I thought it was going to be another party game that wasn't really that great of a game, but was maybe made fun because of the people that we were playing it with, which I will say did make a huge difference because we played this with the Hug Ladies and they were so fun to play with. I loved it.
Yeah. Because it's a great game.
And it's a party game. So I don't say that lightly. Like, I genuinely really loved it. I have never experienced so much stress playing a game.
But it's fun stress.
Was it? Some of it was fun. There were moments of fun. No, it definitely is like an anxiety inducing, stressful kind of game. And playing with that group who's played it so much before, it was like, I mean, they were pulling stuff out. They were like, wait, when I said this and you played that card, I saw your eyebrow twitch. You're a witch. You know, it was just like
on the littlest
the littlest things. And I was just like, what is happening? And what was cool about it, though, so I was not a witch. I was not dealt witch cards. But then there's like the very first, forgive me because I don't remember the phase, but there's like a phase where everyone puts their heads down no, you just draw a new card.
Yeah, the conspiracy.
So you have to like take a neighbor's card and put it in front of you, and like both of the witch cards got drawn and passed that round.
Yep,
I picked one
and I drew
and
one.
You drew the other. And so then we had 4 witches at the table, where the game normally only started with 2. And from there, shenanigans ensued. And like Linda and Monique were going at it, and Julie and Marissa were going at it, and like fingers were being pointed, and everybody was, and I don't know how. I think because so what I did was I just played the dumb card. I played I'm a new player and don't know anything. What?
It only works once.
It's a one-off. It's definitely a one-off. It will never work again. But I think I garnered a little sympathy, and I got protected by the one card that doesn't allow certain things to be played. Accusations, like you can't play accusations against me. But it was great. And the bluffing and that sort of social part of it, I thought was like crazy, but really fun. And I have to admit, I really enjoyed it. And the witches did win.
Yes.
We did pull off
even though
victory.
I was killed right off.
Yeah, you were. You seemed very suspicious, and to them, not to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did wrong, but they sniffed you out.
Yep.
Really soon, and you died first, right? You were the first one
I died
out.
first in the second round. So
Yep.
And then ate my food and listened and enjoyed myself still.
Salem 1692. I really did like it. It was a lot of fun, and I absolutely would play it again. And I will not do as well next time.
No.
I will just tell you right now that the tricks that were used in the first game will not be successful playing it again. But I am still looking forward to it.
Excellent. Speaking of Planet Unknown, I did get a chance to play that at the con. My copy, punched.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you were saying?
Yeah.
That your copy of Planet Unknown is punched and out of shrink?
Yeah. That's what I
okay.
was trying to say. in
Okay.
that
It was
jibber-jabber.
a little hard to understand, but
I wasn't sure where you were going. Now I understand. Okay. And you played it. Sweet.
Yeah. I was teaching it, and we didn't have a person show, and so I got to join in and play that. That is such a great game. We didn't play with the Supermoon expansion because I hadn't read the rules prior to that, but it was great. I had fun with that. It's an awesome game. I did get the chance to play some lucky numbers, which is always really good. And then I sat through a very rough game of Welcome To.
oh, was that rough?
Yes.
Oh,
12 new people.
Oh.
Okay. 10 new people.
oh, yeah, okay.
And just clarifying questions. It lasted a long time, and James did a great job teaching it. And he's like, I really want to do this as a big event next time, where we're going to do it on a projector and have it in a room.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You got to have people who've played it and know the rules if you're going to do that, though.
Yeah.
It's like
it was
you'd have to be very explicit. There will be no teach
Yeah.
prior, like if you wanted to do something like that, because once you've played that a few times, it really isn't bad. I mean, it's overall
Very
a
easy
relatively
game, yeah.
easy, simple game. But I can attest, as somebody who has had to teach that game several times over the years, it's not that easy to teach.
not to a crowd.
Especially not to a crowd, but even when it's just like 3 or 4 other people, it's not the smoothest experience. There's some nuance there that you have to wrap your head around.
But the game did end up being okay, and I still lost. And then you had 2 people that were there that knew the rules as well. And so then they kind of started teaching, and then you had people not listening to James.
So then you had
listening
3
to me
teachers at the
and
table.
Listening to but
So
all in all,
so
it went well.
helpful.
It went well. It still went really well.
Good.
We did get the chance to play Castle Combo, which is another really fun, simple game that Andy really likes. I taught it to him, and that was on a night of that Andy was on the whooping stand, and he got his butt whooped on that one pretty good.
I did.
But that's a great game.
It happens.
Another grid building game, and we also got the chance to play River Valley Glassworks.
That's a good game.
I really like this game. You're fishing glass out of the river, or you're putting glass into the river to pull other glass out of the river to build it onto your tableau. You're trying to build rows to the max of 7, build columns, but you want to build specific columns that are further to your right of your board because they're going to score more points that way. And all within, as soon as somebody draws 17 pieces of glass, puts their 17th piece of glass onto their board. That triggers in the game. You have complete the round, play one more round, and then it scores. Very quick game, and it has a lot of challenge and a lot of replayability. I think very good game. And then I got the chance to play Wilmot's Warehouse. So Douglas, we played this one right before you came to join us for Salem, and this was an interesting game. So you have a warehouse and you're trying to tell a story. Essentially, you're going to take some odd colored shapes or a small section of a different shape, and you're trying to tell the story as you're putting these tiles out on the board. Because then once I think it's like 16, maybe 20 tiles are out on the board, you're going to flip all those tiles over, and then you're going to go through another deck of cards that have the same shapes. And you're trying to use memory to match up all those shapes. And I want to say it was closer to 20 shapes than 16. But anyways, we did phenomenal as we progressed our story and made it so that each piece that we put out flowed with the previous piece, even though some of that flow was not so savory flow, but but it worked out really good, and we made one mistake. We nailed it. We had them all but one, and a lot of hands in the pot trying to put together different story, and it worked out really well. I think this is actually, I would call it a party game because we can play with a lot of people. But Andy, Douglas, I think you would not get discouraged with this one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one that you would both tolerate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably
Can't wait.
Probably Doug more than me because he is a party gamer now.
He is, yes.
Oh, wow. Saw that one coming.
Yeah. But one last game, or one other game that I wanted to talk about that was an introduction game to me that was pretty fun to play was Room 25. Have either of you played this?
No.
Yeah, I played it with you.
Oh, you did play it with us. Yeah.
It's on my list. I was
Okay.
going to talk about it if you didn't. So
Yeah, and this was an interesting game. So you're
surprisingly good. I actually thought it was great.
your contestants on like a Survivor show or whatever. All contestants are thrown in this room.
It's like a reality TV show
reality
kind of thing,
TV. There
and
you go.
you're thrown in the room, and you got to find the exit.
Yep, and if you get the exit, you win the prize. But the problem is you can shift to rooms, and you can go to a room blindly, and you may regret that depending on how difficult the room is. It may be an acid trap. It may be the incinerator.
What kind of reality show are you guys on?
Yeah, it's think
it's
Running Man.
It's extreme.
Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man from 1980 something, 90 something maybe, and
Like Squid Games.
yeah, just
Something like that.
just without the cheesy Arnie lines, and but you can shift the rooms, and so you play the card, and then you'll play your card, which will allow you to possibly move to the other room, shift a row, shift a column,
Or you can peek. You can like just reveal the tile to just yourself, and then
Yeah.
you know what it is.
yeah, and then you're just trying to make it to the exit, and the exit starts in one of the corners. It's face down, and as you're shifting, you're trying to get to that exit and end your turn there, or start your turn in that exit tile. And if you start that turn in the exit tile, then you can exit that tile, and the first person to exit wins.
Nice.
And there was a little bit of challenge. This game was, I mean, it's easy for sure. You just
Yeah, mechanically.
yeah. But a lot going on that gets you a little bit frustrated that you lose so easily.
Potentially some like real take that moments too.
Yeah.
One of the actions you can do is to shove a player that's in your room into an adjacent room. So if you know it's one of the instant death rooms, you can just give them a good shove.
Wow.
Yeah. I tried to do that, but instead somebody found the exit.
You shoved them into the exit?
No, I was going to shove them into
Take
a room.
that.
They were in the room with me. I knew where the exit was, and I was going to shove them into the incinerator room that was right there, and instead they went to the exit room, and I was like, oh, and then I lost.
Sounds like you deserved it.
Probably.
Yeah. Nathan did a lot of the tile shifting stuff that was super annoying.
Yeah, I was trying to get the exit room. I tried to stay like as close as I could to the center and bring the exit room to me.
Yeah, we were all out exploring, and Nathan was like, no, I'm just going to move the tiles to me.
Yeah.
He kept
And I
moving
did
stuff
it.
around.
And then Linda, I think, was the one that beat me to the room. And I was like, oh. Was it Linda or Debbie? I can't remember who it was.
Debbie. Debbie won the
Debbie?
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We played it twice.
Yeah.
Well, nice.
Yeah, it was still fun. Very much enjoyed that.
That's good.
That's awesome. I taught 51st State, Worms the board game, and Horrified Great Monsters. We've talked about all those. The teaches went great. Everyone enjoyed them at the table. We had a really fun time playing all of those. A couple of the games that we've talked about in the past, I'm not going to belabor these. Fleet the Dice Game, and Forest Shuffle with both of the expansions mixed in. Nice. I like that game more and more. And just keep giving us more cards. Just keep giving us more cards, and I'll be really happy about that. I really like Forest Shuffle. I think it's a real gem. We played.
It's turning into a wingspan.
I was waiting for it.
Why do you do that?
I saw the look on his face.
Stop it. Stop.
I knew that comparison was coming.
Well, there's enough people in the group that really love this game that
Your opinion doesn't matter.
You're just going to be.
That's what he said.
You're just going to be left out.
Yeah.
You're just going to be left out. No, I really do like Forest Shuffle. We also got to play the White Castle with the Matcha expansion.
I really liked this.
Yep, very good. And I really liked what the Matcha expansion brought. It offered some new avenues for scoring, and where it's all really tight in terms of you don't have a lot of actions to maximize what you're trying to do and to score points. And that part is still the same, but with the Matcha expansion, people don't get stuck, which I think was one of the issues you had with it, Andy. With the Matcha expansion, there's loads of stuff for you to do. There's
good. I like that.
Yeah.
But other places for your dice to go. You can come up with an alternate way, alternate paths, alternate stuff. It's all
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah, it kind of alleviates some of the non-pleasant tension of the game.
Yeah, that was my only beef with that game. Otherwise, it was an awesome game. So if the expansion fixes that, I definitely would love to play that game again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been playing this on BGA quite a bit. I've been playing with Josh, and Jody just went through and read the rules, and so he's ready to play. So we're going to start a new game with Josh, myself, and Jody, and Doug, if you're in.
Yeah. I love
Throw that in there, too.
Yeah, it's great.
So, yeah, that's been I really, really like White Castle.
Yeah.
And I really hope the Matcha is added to the BGA element, because it does add quite a bit to the game.
Yes, it does. Yeah, I think, only playing it once, I'm not going to sit here and be like, it's an essential expansion.
Yeah, for
sure. I would always want to play with it.
Yeah.
So I thought it was very good. And then one last little thing I'll mention. This was kind of a little hidden gem, little kind of fun moment for me at the convention was Richie taught me one of his favorite games, which was Turn and Taxis.
Oh, yeah.
And it didn't blow my mind, but
it's a cool game.
I liked it quite a bit. When he first was like, no, I'm going to teach you this game, I was like, okay, an older, 2006 or something like that, route building style game. And I was just like, I'm okay, Richie, let's play your little game.
You were expecting a Carlos Magnus moment?
For sure. Yeah. But it actually turned out to be a really fun experience. I enjoyed it quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, those are good games. I love Turn and Taxis. I have the both of them.
Oh, do you?
And
I would like
great.
to try it. When Richie was saying, hey, let's play this, I was like, I have a game coming up. I was kind of wanting to look at that. And so I just sat there while you guys played it. And you guys were done really quick.
It played really fast, especially at two players. The route building, if you think kind of like Ticket to Ride, it's like you're kind of doing that. You're trying to build routes, but the way that you are putting your buildings out based on the routes that you build, and trying to connect everything to earn points and to upgrade your carriage and all that kind of stuff. It's simple, but I liked it way more than I thought I was going to. Yeah. It was a good game.
Yeah, I haven't played that in years, but it's a great game. We were able to get Acropolis with the Athena expansion to the table.
I just talked to Brian
nice.
today. And he picked up both of those.
Did he? Yeah, we taught
really
Brian
like that.
Yeah, Brian really did. We taught him that. And did he pick up the Athena expansion as well?
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah, the Athena expansion, it's not a huge expansion. It's kind of cool. You're trying to see, you have different cards out, 4 different cards out, and you're trying to create the shape with the right type of buildings in order to score that tile. And what you're going to do when you successfully do that, you're going to gain a piece of the statue of Athena, and you're also going to gain one of the single hexagonal tiles to place onto your city. And there are several different, there are 4 different cards and shapes that you're trying to make. So if you successfully build the statue of Athena, it's worth 5 points, and then those tiles will score as normal. But it's just going to let you just stack it and build up a level 3 or a level 4 to really score a lot of points. If you happen to have are scoring a lot for your barracks, for example, you can take one of the barracks single tiles, add it to a level 3 barracks. Now it's a level 4 barracks, and yeah, it's just going to be that many more points to you. So anyway, I liked the themed expansion. It didn't overcomplicate the game, which I thought was cool. It made it a little bit more interesting, where you're not just trying to build your city up, you're actually trying to get shapes, and it adds a lot more strategy and a lot more thought into where you're placing everything. It takes a lot more planning, which I thought was cool.
Interesting.
Definitely added a little bit more crunch to the game.
Yeah, that's what Brian was saying, that you needed to do your planning early on too. It's not something that, because he put it off and then he's like looking at the end and he's like, apparently I cannot do that at all.
Yeah, you have to think ahead from the get-go. And it's still hard. Even planning ahead, it's just the tiles that are available to you, especially if you don't have stone, where you can skip those tiles. Like, oh, that third one's like perfect, but I have 1 stone and I can't get it. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure, unless I'm teaching someone brand new to the game, I don't think I'll ever play without the Athena expansion, because it's just fun. I like the depth that it adds to the game. And then we also played with Brian. I played Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. This is like
Is this the one that took forever?
This one took hours.
It looked fun though.
It was really cool.
Yeah, it did look cool. It had the cool factor was there.
Yeah, it was. So it's like a dungeon crawl, but it's like a special operations, like SEAL team style dungeon crawl. So you have each mission has a specific goal that you're trying to complete. What the premise of it is that Earth has been invaded and with aliens, and we are trying to combat these aliens. And so you have characters that have different strengths. So I played the guy that's the sniper. So I had great stealth and great combat, but we also had a hacker in our group. She was trying to open all the doors and hack the computers to turn off the cameras in the hallway so we didn't set off alarms. Because if you do happen to have the alarm go off, it is crazy. The game difficulty increases exponentially if you get an alarm. So you're trying your hardest to make sure that alarm does not go off. Because we were almost done with the game when the alarm went off in the last game we played, and we had just about lost. I mean, we had to defeat the big boss and then get out, and we almost lost because the alarm went off, and it just escalated so fast. But it was fun. It was one that we just played 2 one-off missions, and there's a campaign for it, and I would love to do the campaign to level up your character, get that progression going, get the light story that goes along with it as you're doing the different missions, and how I'm not sure how cohesive those are because we just did one-offs, but it would be cool to see if it does have that cohesion as far as story goes. And if it does, I could totally see that game being a very immersive experience and
Interesting.
A lot of fun.
So is this a game you're picking up?
I don't know if I can convince Brian to schedule some time and we just play it. Probably not. If I can't convince Brian, which I don't think it'll be hard to convince Brian.
He was talking about
probably not.
He was talking about that today. Not necessarily this game, but he was talking about, well, I'm going to try to get together with Andy on Thursdays, and I'm like, no, you're not. You shut your mouth right now. He's like, why not? That's Thursday's night, our other game night. You have to find a new night.
Well,
Okay.
Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Back off our Andy.
Back up.
He's our Andy.
Andy's ours.
It was fun. I'm glad he taught us that game. The first play was rough because we were still all trying to learn the rules, but the second one went really smooth, and it still was a long game. There was still a lot of rule looking up because there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on, a lot to remember. But I think it's one where if you could play it enough to where you just know how everything works, it would be a lot more snappy, not near as long, and the gameplay was great. So
You're snappy.
Sometimes. Just don't make me mad, and I won't be.
No, then you just snap. Andy smash.
But great game.
Oh, good. Yeah, I would sounds exciting.
It was one that I could see you really liking because it wasn't necessarily sci-fi, but it was not fantasy. It's more of a modern special ops
Yeah.
theme.
I didn't get invited to the cool kid table though. So.
It's absolutely the kind of game that I would be interested in playing, but probably not at a convention.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of distractions that go on there.
Yeah.
I wasn't distracted.
No, you're focused.
I was.
But others at the table were distracted.
That's true. But who needs to eat dinner? I mean, I skip dinner almost every day that week because of games going long. So
Yeah.
my hangry daughter was really waiting for me to get done. But
Good time.
it was good.
All right. Well, we have gone on long enough. Is there any news that we want to just drop real quick?
I mean, maybe just really fast. There were a couple things. I think that it's worthy to note that the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era is now hitting shelves, and it's one that we highly recommend after this last weekend, getting it to the table.
I'm going to talk about it in another episode.
Yeah, you will be hearing more about this game, but it is new and on shelves, so I think that is a big deal.
So good.
If you are like me and you really love those Fantasy Flight Game living card games or the card games, whatever they're landing on these days, Marvel Champions Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just dropped. And the Drowned City Investigators pack, or Investigators expansion is what it would be, also just dropped. And then the Drowned City campaign should be coming soon.
Quickly. Yeah.
So that's all new stuff on the shelf that you can go find now. And as far as new announcements go, I'll just mention one because it's one that I'm really excited about. I don't think it's one that Nathan's going to be as excited about, and probably not you either, Andy. But Lost Ruins of Arnak is getting an adventure chest that now has a storage. So it's a storage solution for the core game plus the 2 expansions that have already come out. And it's coming out. It will come with another expansion, the Twisted Paths expansion.
Doug, I want to change my mind to be changed about this game, and I have not played with either of the expansions. And we need to play it again with the expansions.
Yeah. Well, Expedition Leaders
Makes
for sure is
difference.
a mandatory expansion. Yeah, for sure.
Because, I've mentioned this so many times on the podcast, but it takes me back to Champions of Midgard, right? I hated the game until the expansions came out, and now I absolutely love it. So I need to play this with the expansions because the base game by itself was a flop for me. And we played it, we played it like 3 times, and it was just kind of it was fun, but would I be itching to get to the table again? Probably not. But with expansions, if it fixes that, I'm in. I would love to try it.
Okay, let's play it. I love it. I got the green light from Andy. That's 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
So I'll play it. I enjoyed our play that we did.
I like a little bit. Yeah, that's true.
I wasn't disgruntled.
Yeah, I don't think I brought you all the way around on it, but the knob twisted a little, didn't it?
Yeah.
Good. Maybe I'll bring you guys around on that one. Hey, speaking of Champions of Midgard, Andy, that was the only other thing I was going to mention was that the 10th anniversary edition is now running on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
And I do have to say it looks pretty great.
It
Man,
does.
if you want a blinged out, pretty amazing copy of Champions of Midgard, now's the time.
Shut up, Doug.
And if you missed that, if you missed and you don't get that, there's going to be a regular version of Champions of Midgard at a game swap near you.
No kidding.
So
There's gonna be
true.
a lot of people ditching those old versions for the new ones. Now, after seeing your amazing copy of Ready Set Bet come, and that, which is it's awesome. Like I love that the mat stores in the box and that you can just kind of take it. It even has a little carrying handle.
Magnetic.
And a magnetic flap. It's a great box. Also, how do you store it?
Not a great box shape.
And that is the only thing I'm worried about with Champions of Midgard.
It is on the shelf
10th
over there,
anniversary
though.
edition.
It did get a shelf.
You kind of got it to fit over there, didn't you?
And I'm either going to have to raise that shelf, so that's the only thing on that shelf, or
back Champions of Midgard 10th anniversary edition, and it will probably be about that exact size.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yeah, because it is also being designed to have the mat fit in the box. So I like that, but at the same time, I'm like, ooh, I don't know if we need those big awkward box sizes.
Yeah,
so.
that just bugs me.
I have a lot of those already.
Yeah,
And I'm running out of space for the big awkward box sizes.
Yeah, I picked up the Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Why?
The mega box, because it's all in one box, and
so
mine was in one box anyways. But I was like, I want something that just has plenty of room, And
So you can
then,
put extra rules in.
yeah, so I can store extra rules so I can lose those in there. Exactly. Yes.
Well, hey, to its credit, the game fits in the box great.
It does, with a lot of little extra add-ons, which I think are awesome.
I mean
as well.
the box you bought, the new copy.
Yes, yeah.
it fits great.
And it sold great too.
Yeah, you just don't have a place on the shelf to put the box.
Yeah.
Huge box.
Yeah. No, that was that awkward box shape is just and it's not a top shelf game, right? It's not, you don't put it next to your Oathsworn. You don't put it next to your Gloomhaven. It is a lower shelf game.
Right.
And not because it's a lower quality game, but just because there's so much in a Gloomhaven box. There's so much in an Oathsworn box.
You don't want to have to bend over to pick it up.
Yeah. Quacks doesn't need a box like that.
It's true.
Champions of Midgar, maybe.
Maybe.
Ready Set Bet, it didn't need a box like that.
Right.
I really hate having my mats separate, but I would rather have that mat separate and have that be a regular shaped box.
Right.
Really
Yeah,
good.
that's kind of where I'm at too. I 100% like recognize that not everybody uses the Calyx shelf system or whatever, the 13 by 13.
Yeah.
You know, because there's different brands. They're not all the IKEA Calyx.
Yeah, I get the cheaper brands.
Sure. And not everybody uses those, right? Some people use like all kinds of different shelves for storing their games.
Look around here. Yeah.
Yeah. However, that has become an industry standard. At this point, there are so many people who use that shelving system for board games that, like, if you're doing a storage solution, you need to be using those dimensions.
Yeah.
You just have to be using those dimensions. It's a problem if you're not.
Yeah.
One of the things I was really excited about with the Lost Ruins of Arnak, the storage box, is that was one of the first things they were showing off was how it fits so nice and clean into the Calyx.
Nice.
It's fits like a glove and doesn't take up a lot of space. It's got a nice profile to it.
You got a nice profile.
It's good times.
Nice. Well, I only want to talk, since we are over time, I only want to talk about one game, one expansion that's coming out or that's announced, and that is Pirates of Maracaibo Commanders.
I'm way excited for this.
I am too.
Wow. Okay.
And I can't wait to get this because we all know the love we all have for Pirates of Maracaibo, and just adding more cool asymmetrical stuff to the game is just awesome. So I'm really excited about that.
Yep. Good times. Gonna be awesome.
I really like that. Fantastic. Well, anything else you guys want to talk about? Any other SaltCON news or highlights?
No, I think we did. The game show went well.
I thought the game show was, I wasn't able to go because I was playing Mille Fiori, but everyone I talked to said it was excellent.
Yeah, we had some computer issues, and I'm not sure what happened, but I struggled. My Excel sheet wasn't working right. Had to run the formula like 3 times, set the order 3 times. That was frustrating, but overall it was very well done. Everybody had a blast. Everybody was very mad at some of the answers. Like one in particular was I had asked to name a Harry Potter professor. And when I asked this question, it was like right after Margaret Smith had passed.
Oh, Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith. Yeah, it was right after Maggie Smith had passed. And so that was the number one answer.
McGonagall.
Yes, she was the number one answer. And so people were upset. So professors that didn't make the list, Dumbledore.
What?
Snape
Didn't make the list?
They didn't even make the list?
They didn't even make the list.
You're kidding.
What?
No. And yeah.
How many professors were there at this school?
There was 10 that were on the list, and yeah.
What were they?
So
like
many.
Flitwick?
Yeah, he was one of them.
Sprout?
She was one of them.
Those were being named over Snape and Dumbledore?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was all because Maggie Smith had passed, and so everybody was like, boom. She's been on the news, so that's my answer. And
yep.
yeah. And that was the Hug team was complaining that Dumbledore wasn't on there. His first name's Professor. And
they're not wrong.
No. And but it was it was still a lot of fun, and yeah. It was great. Very much look forward to doing that next year, and hopefully work some of those bugs out, because it tested just fine when I ran it with my test group at work, and for some reason, I mean, my formatting was off so that my score reveal, you could see a little bit more information than I wanted seen,
Weird.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what happened.
You must have worked most of the bugs out for during the first session then, because I talked to most of the people who went to the second, and they said it was totally fine.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah,
so
no, there were all those issues came up in the first section.
All right, excellent.
But it was still great. Had a blast.
Good. Well, that is a whole lot about SaltCON and just a little bit of news and peppered in there to boot. Until next time. Just to spice it up a little. Until next time.
We'll see you. Wishing you had gone to SaltCON and played some games with us.
Thank you for listening and being a part of Meeple Nation. If you would be so kind as to follow, subscribe, share, and rate or review this podcast, it really helps to spread the fun. You can be more involved in supporting the podcast by joining the nation at patreon.com/Meeple Nation, or you can find a link at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. And while you're there, look at all our extra content. There are links to all our past episodes, a wide variety of blogs, pictures from our Instagram feed, and bios for all the hosts and our awesome bloggers. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Meeple Nation. If you would like to chat with the hosts or other members of the nation, you can join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. We hope to see you again at a game night, a con, or maybe a suspense-driven evening of werewolf. Thank you for listening and supporting Meeple Nation, and stay tuned for next week's episode.
Thank you so much for listening. We very much want to thank our patrons who help keep the podcast running. I personally want to thank my co-hosts for all the help they provide with both content here on the podcast, in addition to what we have available on our website. Without them, the podcast would not happen. If you too would like to support the podcast, you can join the nation at patreon.com/Meeple_Nation. Or you can find a link to Patreon at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. If you have any questions, comments, or games you feel should be on our radar, you can always reach us at meeplenation@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. I am grateful to Doug and Andy who helped me edit episodes, and I want to thank James and Kim Clark who do the editing on our blogs and on our webpage, which can be found at meeplenation.com. We want to thank Brain Detergent for our music. If you want to find more from him, you can follow his links that can be found on our webpage, or simply search for Brain Detergent on YouTube to find more of his tracks. Thank you again for listening and being part of the Meeple Nation community.